the crowd are booing a little bit, but they don't even hate him. They just don't care anymore.
Yeah,
they just don't care.
There's definitely a lax.
I can't put my foot into my
and
mouth.
It's like, and it's like, it looks real. It looks real.
Can you put your foot into your mouth?
No, I cannot. Yeah. But I'll put my foot in your mouth.
Oh, baby. Have Shawn Michaels and Mable go at it, and Mable wins. That would have got Mable over more.
Yeah, I agree. Hello, and a very warm welcome back to the Gimme a Whole Year Wrestling podcast. My name is Dom.
I am Ant. That's what we normally do.
I know, but I was doing a thing.
All right, you carry on doing your thing.
I was explaining that I'm not hungover. It's not why my hood's up. It's because I'm very delicate today. Played a gig with my band, the Parasitic Twins. Cheap plug, yeah.
Awesome.
In Stockport last night, and I'm knackered. All I've been doing is driving. So you've got tired Dom and a not so tired and heavily bearded.
A normal ant.
A normal ant.
Awesome.
Yes.
A normal ant, because that's the type of ant we like. King of the Ring 1995 today. We've had two really great King of the Rings that we've really enjoyed, and now we're going into the 95 one. Yay!
Don't
foreshadow the review.
Yeah, it's a bit like saying, it's just gonna be, you're just freaking people out. You're gonna freak everyone out.
No, I think people will be watching this expecting to see how much we slate the pay-per-view, so that's fine, and that's entertaining.
There were some good matches.
Was there?
One good match.
Was there?
Maybe.
June the 25th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Shout out to everyone from Philadelphia there. UK number one film at the time was Pocahontas.
I loved Pocahontas.
Oh dear. What's your favourite song from Pocahontas?
I don't know, I thought she was a really attractive animated character.
A really attractive animated character. Is there such a thing?
Yes.
Excellent.
Have you ever seen...
I've seen them photos.
Roger Rabbit.
Oh, Roger Rabbit. Jessica Rabbit, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But Jessica Rabbit was more sultry than Pocahontas.
Most attractive animated cartoon character.
Oh, brilliant. That's what the podcast has come to. Welcome to King of the Ring 95. UK number one single was the Out There Brothers Boom Boom Boom. Do you know that one?
No, but not as good as... It wasn't as good as the Venga Boys Boom Boom Boom, was it?
No, it wasn't, but this is the...
Boom Boom Boom.
Oh no, this is just as bad. It's Boom Boom Boom, everybody say way.
That was That was amazing.
It's not amazing, it's rubbish.
You have terrible musical taste, shut up.
Thank you very much. We had an awesome comment on the last video from Susan, so I'm just going to read a little bit of that out. Susan owns the Macho Man Randy Savage The Greatest Facebook page and puts out some awesome posts, so head over there, give her a like and give her a whole year.
Thanks, Susan.
She says she hasn't commented in a while, but she just wanted to say that she really enjoyed the last review. The last review was In Your House, the very first one, so go back and check it out if you haven't already. And she said that she's really glad that we're reviewing the In Your Houses. We're looking forward to the In Your Houses. There was some really good stuff in Your House, yeah.
Most of them.
And you got to remember, like, the In Your Houses do span from now to well into the Attitude Era as well, don't they? And this was all the pay-per-views were called In Your House at this time, you know. She said that it's brought back a lot of really good memories of watching it with her friends, which is really cool. Also, the fact that these were cheaper was really good for her and friends, because that meant that they could afford them quite easily, which is awesome. What else did she say? Right, she says, I know that many don't think much of the matches like Diesel and Sid, but these were two of my favourites, and back then we were really in awe of them, and we understand that, you know. Watching back, like, it's really boring to watch back.
I really like Sid. Especially when he did face Sid, which was coming up. They seem to flip-flop quite a lot between heels and faces at this time. Not that they're not doing that now in current WWE.
Big Show, Natalia,
Braun Strowman.
And then she also, I respect that. It's just watching it back, like, it's hard to enjoy a match that is just punches and kicks. Now, the story building up to it, we're not sort of getting all of that from watching these pay-per-views, which is sort of, I suppose, the negative thing of watching stuff back.
There's an interesting dynamic between some of these guys. There's a lot more history between some of the performers and others. There's a series of matches that come up. Razor Ramon is putting on consistently good performances with Jeff Jarrett in recent times.
Yes.
People that have got a lot of chemistry, but there's a lot of matches coming up in this particular King of the Ring and also in the In Your House stuff that we've seen, where the wrestlers don't really have a lot of chemistry. The booking is pretty
It's terrible, man.
bad.
It's terrible, and it ruins the pay-per-view like big time. Any positives around the pay-per-view are ruined by bad booking.
There's also sad realizations that guys like Mable, who I'm a huge fan of, in terms of skill set, I think he's a better big man than Yokozuna was, and he's one of the greatest big men of all time in my own personal opinion.
I don't know if I'd agree,
but
that's fair enough.
You put him in a main event spot. Does he suit that? No. Equally, sadly, a face Bam Bam Bigelow doesn't quite
live up to
the hype that we. Certainly, I remember getting excited when Bigelow left the $1 Million Corporation, and it was going to be a big thing. And you're a massive Bigelow fan.
Yeah, I love Bigelow. He's a great worker.
I'm less of a fan of him unless he's a face, but his face run isn't what I recall it being.
They've tried to push him to main event, and so he main evented WrestleMania, obviously, and obviously that was with Lawrence Taylor, and that was rubbish. To put him in a match at the end of this pay-per-view, which is, again, a main event, and it doesn't really work. He's sort of that really solid mid-carder at this point, I think. I'd say back in the early... very late 80s when he come back, I think he was sort of that main eventer.
Yeah.
At the minute, it doesn't feel like he's being built up for that, which is a bit weird. Susan also goes on to say that she's looking forward to our In Your House 2 review, which we'll be doing for you next week. So subscribe to the channel and it'll come up next week with Shawn Michaels versus Jeff Jarrett. We've both watched that and we both love it, man. It's
great.
Sick.
Did you just use the phrase sick?
Yes, I did, because it's 1990s. Boom, boom, boom. Everybody say way-o.
Way-o. You are not in your 20s, Anthony. Grow up.
It's also the one where Jeff sings With My Baby Tonight, which is great, and we'll be reviewing that next time.
It's not really Jeff, though, is it, mate? It's not really Jeff.
So, and she wants us to carry on with the podcast. Thank you very much for keeping up with us and joining us. So let's get straight into the first match. No, let's not. Let's talk about the event. So we start off with the WWF blimp looking over Philadelphia. The WWF blimp was a great way to advertise upcoming events.
I love that blimp.
It's awesome, man. I mean,
as a kid, that was so much fun to look at.
And we don't see blimps. Like, in the UK, we never really had blimps, but I can imagine in America it would have been a great way to advertise, because it's over the city, man. You can see it from everywhere.
It wasn't really a thing.
It's a very clever move, and I believe it was advised by Bruce Pritchard as well, who was doing creative at this time. Stephanie Wind introduces us to the qualifying match next, exclusive to Coliseum home video. So the commentators for this are Vince McMahon and Doc Hendricks again. The first match isn't part of the King of the Ring. It's a re-showing of a qualifying match, which is between Savio Vega and IRS, with Razor Ramon in Savio Vega's corner and Ted DiBiase in IRS's corner.
I love how you write Razor Ramon's name. It's like you write it as you say it. You say Razor Ramone. Razor Ramone.
Is it just spelled with... I'm really dyslexic, so I can't tell if that's right or wrong.
It's a Ramon.
Ramon. Razor Ramon. With Savio Vega. So the qualifying match had originally aired on Sunday Night Slam, but is included as part of this massive push for Vega, which feels really unjustified after they've changed Vega's gimmick from being Quang, which we saw because he came and helped Razor out in one of the last matches against JJ. So yeah, why Savio Vega and not Razor, you may ask, because that would make sense. Razor's a much bigger sort of star. Razor suffered a rib injury in a ladder match against JJ and had to vacate the spot within the tournament. So the first match in the 1995 show is the 1995 Savio Vega show, which I think they should call this pay-per-view instead of King of the Ring. It's not actually part of the King of the Ring, it's a qualifying match. What? Vega went for 3 very early pins, almost could have been squash, as Vega doesn't release IRS quick enough for the first one. It did look like he got 3 count, but whatever. During the match, they start showing off the foreign commentators. Why do that during a match? Is it really that? I mean, IRS was never that exciting, but I mean, you don't do that, do you?
It's a little weird, isn't it?
It's a bit weird. Towards the end of the match, IRS tries to leave, but Vega throws him back in, and with a back heel kick, is that what you call his finisher?
Oh yeah, I thought it was really good actually. I quite like it.
It's quite a nice move.
I mean, there's people that do better versions of it, but it's good. Yeah, it's like a spinning back heel kick thing.
Yeah. 1 2 3 Kid does a really good one. And he gets a pin. Not a great match, less than 6 minutes. Seemed a little pointless putting this on the video, in my opinion. It was only 6 minutes that it added, man. I mean, it's... It wasn't exciting. Half the match was introducing us to the foreign commentators, man.
I mean, I do love a good bit. I love a good bit of Savio Vega, and I think IRS.
Well, if you love Savio Vega, you will love this pay-per-view because all it is Savio Vega.
You know.
Not a great match. No, nothing really interesting happened. Commentators start selling their first ever Kiss My Foot match as if that's something to be excited about.
Yeah, I was grossed out by it massively.
Which will happen later in the event. We'll review that when we get to it. Savio Vega with Razor Ramon. So Savio again, yay. Versus Yokozuna with Cornette and Fuji. The first of the 4 quarterfinals at this event, and the next 4 matches are all qualifiers. So are you happy to go straight into the match?
Yeah, let's go.
Or do you have anything to add to the IRS Savio Vega shambles? Did you enjoy it? It was such a hard pay-per-view to watch, man.
Yeah, it was hard, man. I mean, the thing about that is it builds Savio Vega as a face,
and
it builds Savio Vega's momentum.
But it doesn't work
as we continue into the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
it's his defining moment. which is a apart from Los Boricuas, his faction, which comes later.
I wouldn't necessarily say that was his defining moment.
His defining singles pay-per-view.
Yep.
And it falls a bit flat.
Really
flat.
I
had a lot of time for him when he first began.
WWF made a massive misstep, in my opinion, by putting him in the push. What they did, you were going to be
like, he made a massive misstep taking him away from the Quang gimmick. I loved Quang.
No, that was fine. If you're going to do that, get like some guy in that could do it properly. What was the guy that they had in the Rumble 93? The guy that actually originally did the Poison Mist, I forget his name. The Japanese superstar. Like, get him in the WWF. If you're going to do a character like that, just get him in.
Yeah, I remember that guy,
Anyway.
I can't think. I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out because I don't like leaving holes
in the podcast.
The last one to do it was Tajiri.
Tajiri, yeah. Yokozuna beat Lex Luger to make it to the quarterfinals by a leg drop outside of the ring, in which Lex Luger got counted out. And Savio Vega promo next when he says it's going to be hard to win King of the Ring, but he will try his best. Yokozuna takes the early lead, but after missing a leg drop, Savio Vega is able to get back into it, including a 10 headbutt thing in the corner, 10 head punches in the corner. Savio Vega tries to put him away with a back heel kick, but misses, so it's nice that we sort of see that moment that's won the last match, but not able to finish this match, which is good. Yoko starts dominating Savio Vega, looking at Razor as he did. I thought that was quite good work there by Yokozuna.
What year are we in now?
1995.
Oh, no way. I was just looking at Tajiri made appearances for WWE in 96 and 97 and used the Mist. I'm still trying to think of the 1993 one.
Cool.
Still trying to look at it.
Yokozuna presses on the side of Savio Vega's neck. The worst looking submission ever. I really hate that move. I just think it looks naff. Eventually Yokozuna misses a leg drop and chance of USA calls Vega to get up and deliver multiple clotheslines, followed by a spinning heel trick, which gets Yokozuna down. Cornette goes to interfere, but Vega catches him. Then Owen Hart comes out in his tux to attack Razor. Vega and Yokozuna end up fighting on the outside, and Vega Irish whips Vega into the ring post where he's counted out, meaning Vega gets the win. I mean, yay. Cool. I suppose he beat a big guy here, so his justification in the tournament is sort of justified.
I cannot find who it was.
Cool. It's just the original guy that did the first Green Mist. That'll come up. We go to a promo, which starts off with a shot of a foot. A filthy foot.
Yes,
with a filthy sock on. What did you think of the last match?
Spinning manure.
It's been in manure.
No, not the match. I mean the foot. I was pleased to see Savio get the win at this time.
Really?
In my adolescence, as a fan of Savio Vega, I thought it was cool.
Match. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how else they could have done it. I honestly don't know how else they could have done it.
No, it's same with any Yokozuna singles match, I think.
Yeah.
So it's Jerry the King Lawler who says that he's going to be Bret Hart's Achilles heel, and he's going to give him that sweaty foot to eat. Next match, the roadie with Jeff Jarrett versus Bob Holly. The roadie beat Doink the Clown with assistance from...
really like the roadie, man.
Really? I don't think he's great at the minute, man. I think he's good at his character, but I don't think he's a great wrestler.
Still looking. So I think he's great.
Cool.
I think his character's great, and I think his performances here are fantastic.
No, I disagree. The Roadie beat Doink the Clown with assistance from Jeff Jarrett to get in. As Bob Holly comes down... Oh, yeah, Bob Holly beat Manta to get to the quarterfinals. What do you think? I think Doink versus Manta could have saved this pay-per-view. I think that's the match that everyone wanted to see, really.
You've got to have a little bit of love for Manta, to be fair, haven't you?
No. So as Bob Holly comes down, it's the first time I noticed the Knights. Do you know the Knights that opened the door?
Yeah.
Did you spot who that was?
Nope.
Pay-per-view debut. Two brothers. No? Attitude Era brothers. It's the Hardy Boys, baby.
Oh, right, there you go.
Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy are both the Knights who are opening the doors.
I think I saw that. No, I watched that Hardy special on the network. And
it was part of that as well. But but you can see it when you're looking here. In fact, Jeff Hardy's like chewing, and do you know, like he does before every match now, and he's chewing there, which is really quite cool. So the first time we're seeing the Hardys on camera. It's going to be a couple of years before they come in with Michael Hayes as a manager as well, don't they? And have a long and successful career.
Very excited to see that.
Early stuff, man. Early Hardys.
With the Brood and gang and all that
and
stuff.
Then Lita.
The vibe. I mean, that was my entire childhood image was based on teenage image was based on Jeff Hardy and
Brother Nero. No, well, not Brother Nero back then.
And then the painted nails and all that stuff. I think it might have been Muta.
Yes, the Great Muta. That's it.
Muta, yeah.
Yep.
Finally. Sorry about that,
yay,
guys.
We did it.
I don't like to leave holes in what we say.
Bob Holly.
But then it was Tajiri. After that.
It was Tajiri after that. But it was original. But he was the original guy that did it. Not in the WWF. He came up with the concept outside in Japan. Bob Holly throws Roddy around the ring, getting several pin attempts. Holly really controlled the match, I thought. To be fair to Roddy, he was always in the position to receive the move, but Bob Holly seemed to be the one directing this match and directing Roddy where to be.
He was he was a bit of a ring general.
Yes.
By all counts, wasn't he, Bob Holliday? Bob
Holiday, not Rob Holiday.
The
bassist from...
Guitarist
from Prodigy and
Marilyn
Manson. Roddy does his dancing celebration again. We're seeing early signs of Road Dogg and that character being developed, and you can see the charisma that he had that eventually became the Road Dogg. Mm-hmm. The Road Dogg was a great feature on any card in terms of, in a similar sense to Rikishi. Actually, I'm not even necessarily comparing the wrestling, just in terms of like people loved it when you had Too Cool doing that dance. Yeah. People loved it when Road Dogg came out, and it was in a similar sense, The Rock. People loved all of his sort of stuff, and it's interesting to see the early foundation of that. Roddy eventually lifts Holly onto the top of the turnbuckle, but when Bob Holly goes for pedal to the metal from the top rope, Roddy gets his legs up and goes for the pin, and gets pinned. I mean, it was okay. I think it would have been good if Roddy did a little bit more work, I think.
I think, like I say, I think Bob Holly definitely led this match and most of the matches at this time in his career. But then maybe if Roddy had carried it, it wouldn't have been as good anyway. So it was okay, and that's like maybe that's why I like the Roddy so much, because I think that he's being led by a lot of his opponents who are very good and long-term performers.
Yes,
there's a lot of performers,
especially people like
at this period.
with Jarrett,
Razor Ramon,
Jarrett was the perfect person to put Roddy with, I think.
Yeah.
In a similar way that when DiBiase and Virgil were together.
Yeah,
it was the right pairing.
Yeah. Didn't they when Jarrett went into the Hall of Fame last year, didn't they reunite to do the Be My Baby Tonight?
They did do the Be My Baby Tonight, but we're going to talk a little bit more about Be My Baby Tonight, because
My Baby Tonight.
It comes in your house too, where they do a live show, a live performance of it. Next up, we have Shawn Michaels' interview. Being big doesn't make you good, and being big doesn't stop a super kick. Shawn Michaels turned face after WrestleMania 11, basically the night after WrestleMania 11. So Karma with DiBiase versus Shawn Michaels.
Karma is, of course, a man of many
faces.
Different faces.
Yes.
People talk about Mick Foley's changes and gimmick changes and different faces over the years. You look so lost. What?
No, just trying to think of all the faces. So you had Papa Shango, had Karma,
Godfather.
You
had the Good Father.
Which was the Godfather, but
the Good Father. Right to
Sensei. Yeah.
You had.
There was another one. Who was he in Nation of Domination? He's researching. So into the match. So Shawn Michaels beat King Kong Bundy to make it to the quarterfinals, and Karma beat Duke the Dumpster Droese. What was that sound for? When we see Karma making his way to the ring, a wreath has been smashed on the floor.
Mustafa, so it was Karma.
Yeah.
Mustafa,
yeah. That was his other one. When we see Karma making his way to the ring, a wreath has been smashed on the floor, and our attention is drawn to a couple of, in Vince's words, creatures of the night, which are two goths sat in the front row with very tired eye makeup on, is how I'd describe it. Yeah, obviously here for The Undertaker and sort of building up The Undertaker. And obviously Karma was in a feud with The Undertaker as well. So Karma had stolen the urn from The Undertaker and was melting it into a chain and all that sort of stuff, which we see play out a bit more at SummerSlam in a bit. Bling. Super bling. Face Michaels heads to the ring wearing a King of the Ring baseball cap backwards. Michaels blows kisses to the crowd. I was always quite impressed that Michaels was able to turn face but keep the arrogance. Yeah. It was quite...
It's very much his thing.
It can happen these days.
I'm very much looking forward to, obviously we're in present day with the well, it's one of the only things I'm looking forward to about the crown jewel, wherever it ends up, is seeing Michaels return to the ring. One of the absolute greatest of all time.
Absolutely.
In terms of a gimmick, and I think he can still go.
Did you enjoy him at Super Showdown?
What? He's just the way he moved around the ring and the way.
I mean, he was basically part of the match.
But. Yeah, I mean, I liked his super kicks. You know, that was cool.
Yeah.
I love his sweet chin music. You know. I mean, obviously Dolph Ziggler does it better, but
don't be stupid. I knew that's where he was going. I knew all of that was building up to praising goddamn Dolph Ziggler.
Carry on.
Nice moment where Michaels dodges two punches early on, evades... he dodges two punches from Karma and then goes for two of his own, like moving his head. It was really cool. It felt like a fight sort of stuff, you know. I like Michaels when he does stuff like that. Crowd going mentals as Michaels nearly goes over the top rope. He holds on and brings himself back over. Skims the cat. He's doing that all the time at the minute, and it's all... it's because the 95 Rumble happened. We had Michaels do that at the 95 Rumble, and it's become part of his moveset at this point. So he does it almost every match as a way of referring back to that, which I think is really clever.
I wonder if he'll still be able to do it.
Yeah, sure he could. Maybe.
Did you skin the cat?
Could I skin the cat? No, definitely not. I couldn't get this mass back over anything. I'm the Yokozuna that falls through the...
Yeah, I'm definitely the Shawn Michaels.
Very good, James Ellsworth Malik. Yeah, the crowd love the spot. So we see a shot of Joe Frazier in the audience. Obviously, Joe Frazier, again, this sort of
Smoking Joe Frazier.
Yeah, man.
All I can think about, it's like the kangaroo in the Hardy compound.
No. Don't know.
Obviously, he's a boxing legend in reality, but Matt Hardy has a kangaroo.
He has a kangaroo.
And they call Smoking Joe. And in the TNA stuff, he's looking for guidance, but he has to fight Smoking Joe to get the guidance from Smoking Joe.
And that's why the broken gimmick was better in TNA. A nice move as Michaels is on the shoulders of Karma. Then he uses the ring rope to push himself over, with Karma ending up in a pinning position. A nice move there. The match then gets really slow. They're dragging it out intentionally. There's a couple of 10 counts outside the ring and 10 counts on the floor. Really simple techniques to drag out the match. We then get a counter in the bottom corner of the screen showing that there's only 2 minutes left in the match. What does that mean, Dom?
It means that
there's a time limit draw coming up. And obviously it does.
Which is kind of pointless. But
the match speeds up a little bit at this point. So Michaels gets crossbody, which is rolled into a package by Karma for a near fall. As the countdown begins, Michaels goes for the pin, and although he gets the 3 count, the time is already. That's it.
Yep.
Both men are out of the tournament due to the draw.
It's weird booking.
He gets a super kick on the way out. It is weird booking. It is really bad booking. So after the main event of WrestleMania, we've had the face turn. This would have been the right King of the Ring to have given this to Michaels. Like more than anyone, easily. Michaels should have won the King of the Ring here, and the King of the Ring would have worked so much better with that. You know, didn't happen. Sad. So we basically had these two guys have a singles match as part of the King of the Ring tournament, which doesn't really advance their feud because they're not really in one. I mean, Karma's main feud is with Undertaker, and it's just weird, isn't it? It doesn't work.
Very strange.
It doesn't work.
So it's kind of all over the place. A little bit higgledy-piggledy.
It is. I mean, it's not a terrible match, but British. The booking of it just makes no sense. We see a video package of Bob Backlund campaigning to be president, talking to people in the street, confusing the living daylights out of them.
That's just his thing.
Can you imagine if Bob Backlund came up to you in the street?
That was his gimmick, right about now.
Just confusing people.
He just went a bit mental, didn't he?
There just didn't seem any direction with it though, man.
No, he hasn't had any direction for it. Like, he came back with Darren Young, and that was odd.
All over the place.
It's very odd. He's had a very odd run of it as Bob Backlund.
He has a Philadelphia cheese sandwich and a cheesesteak sandwich, and insists that a carrot should be put in it. So is he heel? Is he heel going for president?
Yeah.
Is he just? He's not even heel, is he? It's just weird.
Yeah, it's very odd, isn't it?
It's not. It's weird. And Bob Backlund, just crazy, man. I prefer this though to seeing him stuck in a feud with Bret Hart. Bret Hart, man. Oh, this year for Bret was awful. Next match we have Mable with Mo versus Undertaker. Whoever wins this has a bye to the final due to the draw in the last match. Mable defeated Adam Baum, obviously, at the tournament in your house. Go watch it if you haven't watched it. It's on our YouTube.
Yeah, we already covered that.
Undertaker defeated Jeff Jarrett to make it into the quarterfinals. Michael Hayes is selling the fact that Undertaker can't get his finisher on Mable. Obviously, Mable's too big to deliver the tombstone too. And the match is really much... It's exactly as you expect it, isn't it? Mable won't go down, old school, choke in the corner, clothesline over the top, that sort of thing. What we come to expect from...
Yeah, standard.
Yeah.
Standard fare.
Then when Undertaker goes back in, he sets it up so the rope blocks his foot, so he's hanging out on the outside. Mable uses that to take to advantage. That was an okay spot. Mo distracts and Mable gets an impressive belly-to-belly. Again, any big guy doing belly-to-belly. I don't know why they don't give it... I hate Bailey's belly-to-belly.
The Bailey-to-belly.
Bailey-to-belly. Nah, you need to be a big guy that can really like crush the opponent as you go down. That's the point of it. The match was super slow. Mable drags Undertaker around. He did it over as a suplex, which looked okay. Undertaker's a big guy to be able to do that too. Mable eventually hits Undertaker with a pile driver and surprisingly didn't get the pin at this point. I thought that was a surprise. Mable eventually Irish whips Undertaker into the ref. Undertaker manages to choke slam Mable, but the pin isn't counted with the ref being out. Karma comes in and kicks the side of Taker's arm. He kicks the side. Karma kicks the side of Undertaker's arm, and then Undertaker's dead. What? And then Mabel gets a leg drop and gets a win. I mean, whatever. Cheap win, disappointing, not much to the match.
Good way to build Mabel, but not. I mean, in terms of his with a
storyline in the King of the Ring,
a winner of the Undertaker. I mean,
yeah,
but like in terms of the way they've done it, it doesn't look particularly strong.
No, it doesn't. And the other thing is. No, I'm going to talk about that later. We see footage from the 95 Hall of Fame. This is when it's still in a dinner hall as opposed to the sort of event it is before WrestleMania now. Savio Vega except for Pedro Morales. Joyce Rocker except for her husband. Fabulous Moolah was there. George Animal Steel, who is greeted by a message by Bill Murray, who was on the back of an elephant. That was quite fun. It's interesting to see how the Hall of Fame's developed. It's changed a lot, hasn't it?
Massively. It's much more of a corporate commercial thing now.
Of course it is. It's money. Money, baby. Savio Vega. Money. And speaking of money, we don't have him in this match. Savio Vega with Razor Ramon versus the Roadie with Jeff Jarrett. It's a semi-final. Best shot of Jeff and Matt at this point. So if you're looking at seeing Jeff and Matt, a very young Jeff and Matt, it's a good point to go watch it. Vince McMahon refers to Roadie as Road Dogg during their entrance. So started to use Road Dogg as the name quite a bit now. So foreshadowing, he'd leave the company before coming back as Road Dogg though. Which is a bit gutting, really. If he'd stayed, I think he would have done better. Roddy is overselling some weird stuff, like he gets a clothesline over the top rope and sort of hits his head on the apron, but his head's nowhere near the apron, and then oversells the heck out of that head hit on the apron. I mean, it didn't even work, man.
There's some odd stuff in there.
The crowd have lost interest as well. The crowd, like, during this pay-per-view as it goes on, it just dead. There's no wonder. I mean, it's Jeff Jarrett's valet versus Razor Ramon's new friend. Basically, it's not
There's no real great build here.
You've got two very low mid-carders, potentially. And they're trying to push Savio Vega, it's not. But the crowd aren't buying it.
I think they're also trying to legitimise the roadie as well. But that's,
But this isn't the way to do it, to be perfectly honest, What should have happened is what they were planning to do, which was a feud between Jarrett and Roddy down the line, and it was all over.
They are working towards that.
But it never happens in that form, or what it was supposed to be eventually. Jarrett interferes, hooking the ankle of Savio, and then gets on the apron as Roddy is nearly Irish whipped into Jeff Jarrett. He then stops himself before being pushed from Savio Vega from behind. I quite like stuff like that. They do that quite a lot.
It's nice, and it does work to build that introduction to the feud.
Yeah, and then obviously Savio gets a pin. Yay! An interview with Savio Vega in Spanish. He speaks Spanish, doesn't he? Is it Spanish or Portuguese?
Yeah, Spanish.
Spanish, yeah. Which Michael Hayes... So, he's getting interviewed by the Spanish announcers, and Michael Hayes comes in and translates for us, which is really quite funny. So, he's basically translating as, I'll never beat Mable, and... I won't win King of the Ring. He's great, man. He's a really funny commentator. I don't think there's been as good as since Bobby Heenan has gone.
He's pretty great, man. He has some good moments.
He does. He has a really good one in the next pay-per-view as well, so stick around for that. Next match is Bret Hart versus Jerry the King Lawler in a Kiss My Foot match.
I mean...
A promo with Bret. You don't want to make any mistakes like he did last time. Obviously, he lost against Jerry Lawler in what was a squash match, which Jerry ended up winning. The things that he said about his fans and parents have annoyed him, and he's happy to take the slime down in any match. That's why he's agreed to this foot match, Kiss My Foot match. The King enters and he's interviewed. When he explains, the world will see Bret Hart kiss his feet. When he beats Bret Hart, he's going to walk around the crowd and make everyone in the audience kiss his feet.
That's funny, his vile feet that he'd been traipsing around.
Manure.
I've just been, because it's the Savio Vega pay-per-view, he's still going.
Is he?
Still going.
Cool.
Yeah. Yes. He won the worst feud of the year in 1997 with the Disciples of Apocalypse, which we're about to see. Coming up in a few years.
Yeah.
I've still got a lot of time for Savio Vega. Yeah. Anyway,
his back heel kick was okay.
Yeah.
That's all I can say really at the minute. Hitman comes down to Pyro. A really great sign actually in the crowd. Hulk who? ? Hitman rules. Interesting to see how the sort of time.
I'd love to have seen that happen in WWE context.
What
Bret and Hogan?
Yeah, maybe. As opposed to the awful thing that happened at WrestleMania 9, and that's all we get. They take it to the outside earlier on, with Bret sending Lawler into the barricade and Lawler sending Bret into the ring steps. Lawler connects with a pile driver, and that gets a lot of heat from the crowd, so delivers a second one. He goes for the third and gets it. I mean, I really expected Bret to reverse out of that third one. I really did. And then when he goes for the King, Bret kicks out. Lawler takes off his boot. Lawler ends up wrestling half this match with an undone boot, or just one boot on most of it.
Yeah, that was on his sock as well. He was on his sock for ages. I love that. I mean, it was just ridiculous, this whole thing.
Can I ask you, in wrestling history, did Jerry Lawler's sock become Mr. Soccer?
No, I can guarantee you.
You can guarantee it didn't?
I can guarantee it didn't.
But maybe that's a feud that we'd like to see in the future.
What, Jerry Lawler versus Mankind?
Jerry Lawler's sock versus Soccer. Forget the people.
Why? Why?
Jerry goes to attack Bret in the corner with his sweaty sock, but grabs it to come back. Then Hakushi and Shinja come in, who we've seen in the In Your House pay-per-view, to attack Bret. But as Lawler holds Bret, Bret ducks and Hakushi hits Lawler instead. After a couple of moves in the ring, not a full 5 moves of doom, there's no power driver there. He locks a sharpshooter on it for the win. Bret takes off his boot and sock while sort of resting on the top turnbuckle.
I remember that, yeah, I remember
Lawler tries to escape. Hakushi and Shinja come out. Hakushi does a vault off the top rope. Off the top over the top rope, but ends up hitting Lawler. Then while Lawler's on the floor, Bret rams his foot into Lawler's mouth. Now we knew that these two had a little bit of heat backstage. Yeah. He didn't look like he was holding back on ramming it in his mouth, did he?
He was not, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that being a kid and watching that on VHS.
He then, and this is really impressive, Lawler isn't a young man. He then grabs Lawler's foot and puts his foot into Lawler's mouth. I can't put my foot into my mouth.
And it's like, it looks real. It looks real.
Can you put your foot into your mouth?
No, I cannot. No. But I'll put my foot in your mouth.
Oh, baby. And then Lawler does a great job, man. He turns green.
Yeah,
he looks sick, man. Yeah, he looks really sick. But I mean, the match is... Is this a stipulation we want to see? Really?
I quite like it.
Yeah?
I quite like it.
No, don't. See promo WWF working with the Special Olympics again. Great to see him doing that, which is happening the week after this pay-per-view. So they sort of promote that and then show the singer from the WrestleMania 11 again. Savio Vega with Razor versus Mable with Mo for the finals. Wow.
And again, Savio Vega's pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I mean, up until this point, but...
Right, so apparently the choke slam took a lot out of Mable, so that's the excuse for Vega getting the upper hand at the start of the match. There's a lot more fight back from Vega than there was with Undertaker. That's just weird.
I think they kind of wanted to build, obviously...
But the crowd don't believe it, man.
You kind of have to build Vega as the underdog here, but,
You can't put Ty Dillinger in a match with Brock Lesnar and expect people to go...
No, they would. They would, because Ty's a brilliant underdog. He has a character. He has the 10 thing. People buy into that. So Vega didn't have that.
No. He had nothing. He was new. Okay, that was a really bad example, because Ty Dillinger is established. Who's a new guy on the scene?
If you put Kurt Hawkins with Brock Lesnar, people would still support Kurt Hawkins.
They'd support, wrestling's changed a lot these days, though.
People would rally behind him as well.
Okay, here's a good one. Wesley Blake. People would just be like, "What?"
Good call.
Does that sort of? So that's a sort of comparison to modern day, in my opinion. Mabel gets clothesline over the top rope. Felt a little bit too big to do that smoothly. I think he should have fallen through the second ropes in the same way that Yokozuna did. It just sort of... I get that it's sort of impressive to see a big guy go over, but because it looks messy, it doesn't work as well. We get a bear hug. 3-minute bear hug.
Yeah.
And it's not the bear hugs I like, where we throw them around.
It's like the resting one.
Yeah. It's a 3-minute cuddle. Oh, you've just hit the mic. That's really annoying for people at home. A 3-minute cuddle.
That's what
Poor, wasn't it? Poor. Vega goes for the comeback, selling for the crowd. He's doing this, and the crowd don't react whatsoever. Don't even want to see him come out of this cuddle. Probably gone to get some popcorn. I struggled so much watching this. Yeah. I mean, oh man, you've just got to have a break every so often.
I remember it a lot from being younger, and again as a kid, it was much more exciting. But going back to a lot of this stuff, as we've discussed before, was pretty dire,
pretty bad. He then gets Vega in a chokehold on the floor because that's exciting. Razor tries to get the crowd into it by beating on the mat, but again, it doesn't really work. Yeah, here's a really interesting point, and this is quite fascinating from a wrestling world standpoint. This is the first time in a WWF pay-per-view that the crowd start chanting something. ECW chants start coming from the crowd because they're so bored.
Yeah, and that is widely hailed. Obviously, this pay-per-view or these series of pay-per-views are some of the worst in fan memory.
Yep.
This is probably one of the more memorable points is people chanting ECW because they're in Philadelphia, they're in EC Dub territory.
Yeah.
It actually was the reason. I think there's a point made in a couple of WWE Network specials that it was this. The only good thing to come out of this was
that it pushed the other promotions.
Turned Vince McMahon onto ECW, and they saw some promotional opportunities.
Right.
So they had a couple of invasion angles. This is the early days of an invasion angle.
Yeah.
And they had Tommy Dreamer come to Raw and things like that.
Yeah. I mean that's more when the Attitude Era is fully established. But
no. This is now. This is this time. They had these angles coming up.
But like how
not on a major
how
pay-per-view.
bad is it for your company to have them chanting another brand's name out during a really boring match.
Vince used it, to his credit, he used it for the coming weeks.
Yeah.
And ECW was in collaboration with Heyman. He actually had the.
I thought that was much later. I thought that was Attitude Era.
No, they do that. They do that again. They do it like 3 or 4 more times.
Oh, right, okay, cool. Yeah, well,
they do the big invasion angle.
WWF obviously helped ECW a lot, but it's still bad that the crowd are chanting another company's name during an awful match. Yeah. What's supposed to be one of your highlight matches. Vega gets his back heel kick again, but Mabel kicks out. After a catch and drop from Mabel, he does a big splash for the pin. Ramon tries to make things interesting by attacking Mabel and Mo, but he ends up on the end of Mabel's elbow drop, followed by a second rope elbow. The 1-2-3 kid comes out and tries to save him, but again can't defeat Mabel and Mo. It just... Ugh. Mo, so we'll go into the crowning of Mabel. Mo crowns Mabel. Mo delivers a proclamation for the crowning of Mabel. I mean, just nothing. I mean, do you think about the last two, man? Bret Hart.
But Mabel he does look the part, man. He looks the part. He looks like a legitimate badass.
But there's nothing coming into it, man. There's, like, if you look at, like, Bret Hart, like, when he won, he went straight into that awesome promo with Jerry Lawler, where he sort of attacks him, and that's sort of really memorable. And Owen Hart, wonderful.
Oh yeah, that was incredible.
Boom,
man. That was incredible.
Right? It's incredible.
No, you're right. In terms of charisma, the previous two got it, but in terms of intimidation and in terms of a general, like if me and you were facing up to, well, maybe not me and you, but like if we were facing up to Owen Hart and Bret, it would be a lot less intimidating.
But he's not
standing.
But he doesn't take that moment, and that's the problem. It's very lazy.
His best work is his viscera.
I agree. I like him as viscera.
That was really,
But by that point, he was sort of Sunday Night Heat, wasn't he, as well,
Well, no, not yet. He did go to Sunday Night Heat eventually, but his music, his gimmick, the dark, evil viscera was, corporate ministry and ministry viscera was intimidating.
There's a big problem I have with this crowning as well. So the crowd are booing a little bit, but they don't even hate him. They just don't care anymore.
Yeah,
they don't care.
There's definitely a lax approach to it.
Savio Vega, 1-2-3 kid come out, but and Razor, but the refs hold him back because a single ref can hold back Razor Ramon.
Yeah, very odd.
Yeah, man, it's weird, and I think this is the problem, right? So if you look at the first King of the Ring, it's a great example, right? Bret Hart, he went through and he fought. First of all, he defeated Razor Ramon. Then went on to an amazing match with Mr. Perfect. Then defeated Bam Bam in the final. Like, that's a real King of the Ring story. And that story is awesome.
Yes.
Mabel's beat The Undertaker in what was a lackluster match.
Yes. And
won by interference.
Yes.
And then defeated someone that's just come into the company that no one actually cares about yet. It doesn't have that. It doesn't have the, Sorry to keep going on about it, but it's, we see footage of Jerry the King Lawler in the toilet vomiting. Yeah, I mean, it's good, but I don't really... I've just lost interest in it all by now,
As a kid?
Yeah.
I was a lot more interested.
You was grossed out by...
I was, massively. Yeah. I wanted to...
With your ham sandwich that your nana made you.
Yeah, my ham sandwich that my nana made me, but... I was definitely grossed out. I'm recalling the feeling. I can feel it now. I can feel the, like watching it. Like I can remember exactly where I was, exactly where I was sitting, and how I felt.
Yeah, cool.
Funny that.
So main event: Bam Bam Bigelow and Diesel versus Psycho Sid and Tatanka with DiBiase.
So much promise.
Really?
In this,
really?
Particularly with Bigelow. But I wanted more. I wanted more than what I got here.
Bigelow's a bit weird at this time.
He's just Tatanka's like one shot as like a main event guy. Like literally the one time.
Never again.
I think this was literally it, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is it. But this is it for Bam Bam actually. This is the last main event Bam Bam's ever in. Yeah. In
a WWE context.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Obviously, he goes on fortunately to major success in ECW.
Yeah. Promo with Sid, he heard the crush of Diesel's elbow. So in the In Your House pay-per-view, they're selling that during the two moves that were delivered during that match, the powerbomb has Razor's elbow. Yeah. Sorry, not Razor's, Diesel's elbow. Tatanka talks about Bam Bam. It didn't work, man. I mean, I don't understand these two as a tag team.
Yeah.
Tatanka and anyone as a tag team, I'd struggle to take seriously because I just don't take Tatanka seriously. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
sorry.
No, I don't take him seriously either. Not, especially not as a heel.
Modern day comparison. It's like having Braun Strowman with Baron Corbin. It just wouldn't feel right, would it? It doesn't feel in a main event. I take
Baron Corbin more seriously than I do Tatanka.
Okay, so what's a good example then? Who's a low down heel?
Kurt Hawkins.
Yeah, the idea. What we're trying to say is that in a main event, it just doesn't feel
there are
like
people that are suited more to a WCW and an ECW environment. Tatanka could have gone on and done actually all right in a WCW arena, and Bigelow obviously went on to great success in ECW. There are characters in history that if those promotions were still running, or a TNA, so you put. I think actually he did go, but if you put like a Damien Sandow in TNA, I think he did go for a bit, and I think he did win the title for a very short period of time there after he left WWE. Guys like Ken Anderson, same. There are people that just aren't meant for WWE and just haven't got it.
But they really pushed Tatanka. I mean, Tatanka had every opportunity to sort of...
But I don't think did he win the tag? He won the tag titles, didn't he?
Did
he win the tag titles?
No, I don't think he did.
I honestly don't think he did. Yeah, let me just research it.
Diesel says that his elbow isn't 100%, but even if it was at 50%, he'd still beat Diesel. He'd still beat Sid. Sorry. Together with Diesel, Bam Bam is going to prove he is the beast from the East. Bam Bam comes out to the ring with a really over-the-top flame jacket, which, it's got like these flames around the neck. He looked like a cheap drag queen.
Yeah.
Bam Bam Bigelow looks like a cheap drag queen in this. I mean, it's what? Yeah. What? He did have the pyro gauntlets though, which is pretty neat.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So he had like pyros in his gloves, which was cool. But yeah, he really did look like a cheap drag queen, man. The faces clear the ring. The crowd hardly reacts. It's weird. This is your champion. This is Diesel and Sid. And what did you think as Diesel champion? I don't know if we've really talked about it that much. No.
I'm not a huge fan.
No, neither am I. The matches are a bit disappointing, aren't they?
I'm just not a huge fan.
No.
Of Diesel.
No, I can agree. Sid goes straight away for Diesel's elbow, meaning Tatanka can tomahawk up around the ring.
He wins the Slammy Award, Tatanka, for the most greediest in 1994.
Most greediest?
Most greediest.
Wow.
That is his Seoul World Wrestling Federation
Championship. Great. Eventually, Bam Bam gets a tag and brings a lot of much-needed energy into the ring, taking on Sid and Tatanka, including a cool moment where he baits Tatanka to do an elbow drop on him, but he hits Sid instead. I thought Bam Bam looked good in that section there, but that's the only one in the match who did look any good. Sid delivers a one-handed chokeslam to Bigelow from the second turnbuckle, which again looks good, but then there's too much showboating afterwards. Yeah. That, sort of
Sid was very much like he was even though he was meant to be this kind of creepy, psychotic character, he does a lot of showboating after there's another spot coming up in a next pay-per-view where he feels like, he should be going for the win, but he just sort of, showboats, what I mean?
Yeah.
And, there's overdoing it as a heel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think
he does
Sid definitely overdoes it a lot.
It all gets really slow as the heels have the advantage and there's really nothing special happening. The crowd didn't care watching. I didn't care watching. Did you care, Dom? No. Diesel gets in, but is very quickly out after an elbow drop with his bad elbow. Yeah, which then forces him to an attack. I mean, why? Why? If you've got a hurt elbow, why would you elbow drop someone with it? It defies that. Yeah, but it's not. It just defies simple sort of. Tatanka locks a chokehold on Bam Bam forever. Still, Tatanka is holding a chokehold on Bam Bam. That's not right, actually, considering that Bam Bam's not with us anymore. Diesel eventually gets a tag, a few sloppy moves. He gets a really sloppy jackknife on Tatanka.
He's been doing some pretty sloppy jackknives.
Really, man. Jackknife. Diesel
Jackknife,
pulls him up before getting the pin, so he don't go to pin's tanker. He wants Sid instead. He points at Sid, and Sid looks at him, and then Sid walks off.
I think
that goes on for about 30 seconds.
Yeah,
would you say?
It's a weird moment. Like I say, it's a nice.
I get it.
It's a wrestling convention to build.
Yeah, absolutely.
To build between a feud, but like.
So so Diesel's still in the ring. He hasn't won the match yet. How is he going to finish the tanker off? A jackknife? It'd make sense. Yeah,
second one. Yeah.
No, an elbow drop. From the minute-long rest that the tanker's had on the floor from the jackknife, then an elbow drop and gets the pin and wins.
I look at this period and I look at this match and I'm just like...
Weird.
That elbow... Again, same thing goes through my head. It's like, why would you,
Why would you use your bad elbow, man?
He's like, what are you trying to say? That you're some macho man,
Yeah.
But you're not the macho man.
You ain't no macho man, baby. In the 80s, tag team main events sort of worked, right? So when you look back at the pairings that you had, like the Mega Powers, that worked, when Hulk and... Who was it, Hulk, that was fighting
Hulk and...
Twin Towers. Mm-hmm. All these, they sort of worked in the late 80s. Now they haven't. It doesn't work. I mean, the roster's so weak right now.
Yeah,
so weak.
Yeah.
Right. So that's it. Right. So let's look at the pay-per-view. There's no championship matches. None at all.
The tournament itself was very
awful,
just lackluster.
Awful.
I do agree with Mable as a King of the Ring, and I think it's a good. I think it well.
If
obviously not knowing what happens going forward, but it would have been a good push for him.
But then do it as a proper King of the Ring.
They could have built Savio Vega better, but they didn't.
Yeah, no.
Same thing. The two characters they focus on for this pay per view, Mable and Savio Vega.
Tag match weirdness. In the main event, right?
Yeah.
Savio Vega overload. We didn't need to see that much Savio Vega. Had it, again, swap out Savio Vega and have it Shawn Michaels.
Or
have Shawn Michaels and Mable go at it and Mable wins. That would have got Mable over more.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I like that they want to push two different guys, and I think that's okay, but just... They could have. They didn't go forward with it. If you're going to do it, it's like a crown jewel. If you're going to do it, you got to run with it. There can't be any. You can't be any.
Talk about that.
Well, yeah, you can't. Maybe not the crown jewels, probably not the best example. But if you're gonna do something, you got to go for it. If you're gonna put your foot in there, you might as well put both in and go straight in, rather than you can't just like let's put Savio Vega in that spot.
It makes no sense, man.
Mabel, let's put Mabel in that spot, and let's.
There's not, and this is the other thing. There's no special wrestling in this pay-per-view. There's nothing like exciting to really go watch. There's a couple of okay moments, but that's all it is. Mm-hmm. It's weak. It is weak. Massively. Best match, Dom. How can you do a best match for this card? I haven't even written one down. Do you give it to Michaels and Karma?
Yeah, I think you have to, man.
Best performer?
Michaels.
Maybe Bam Bam for that little moment of bringing a little bit of something to the main event.
I'll still say Michaels.
Probably Michaels.
At this time.
How many gay stars is this getting, Dom? Is this worse than WrestleMania 9? It is, isn't it?
It is.
One. You're generous. I'm giving it a quarter as a star. A quarter of a goddamn gay star. Thank you very much for joining us.
Cheers.
We hope you've enjoyed the happiness of the episode.
Our enthusiasm for this pay-per-view has probably been echoed in our temperament. Hopefully you. I mean, just watch us, but don't watch this.
We've got through it.
Don't watch the pay-per-view. Like, you can watch this. And go, this is probably more exciting for the thousands of people that will have watched that pay-per-view. This podcast right here, the Gimme Hull Yeah Wrestling podcast, filmed in Hull, East Yorkshire, is more exciting than
I don't even know if it was
this.
Please, if you are enjoying the podcast, like us on Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that.
Yeah, we've got merchandise. We've got merchandise on Patreon. We've got merchandise on Redbubble. Go and support the Gimme a Hull Yeah Wrestling podcast, and most emphatically and with much more enthusiasm than we approach this
pay-per-view,
which you gave a quarter of a star and I gave one. I've been Dom. That is Anthony. We bid you adieu with the Gimme All Your Wrestling podcast. Keep it gay.